In 2009, the Tamil Tigers conceded defeat as a rebel force in which country's civil war? Sri Lanka. The defeat of the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam, LTTE, also known as the Tamil Tigers, in May 2009 marked the end of the Sri Lanka Civil War. This protracted conflict had profound regional and international implications, especially concerning ethnic relations and counterterrorism strategies. Sonia Sotomayor in 2009 became the first Latino or Hispanic person to be selected for which U.S. institution? The Supreme Court. Sonia Sotomayor was appointed an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States in 2009 by President Barack Obama. Her appointment was historic as she became the first Hispanic and Latina Supreme Court Justice, representing a significant milestone in American judicial and civil rights history. What newspaper first exposed the UK parliamentary expenses scandal? Daily Telegraph. The UK parliamentary expenses scandal, uncovered by the Daily Telegraph in 2009, revealed widespread misuse of public funds by members of parliament. This significant event led to public outcry and subsequent reforms aimed at enhancing transparency and accountability in British political governance. Which previous governor of the Bank of England died in April 2009? Eddie George. Eddie George served as the governor of the Bank of England from 1993 to 2003, a period characterized by major shifts in UK monetary policy. His tenure is notably associated with the Bank of England gaining operational independence over interest rates in 1997, a crucial reform in economic governance. Mir Hossain Mousavi was the beaten opponent in which country's presidential election? Iran. Mir Hossain Mousavi was the principal opposition candidate in the contentious 2009 Iranian presidential election, which sparked widespread protests known as the Green Movement. This election and its aftermath had significant ramifications for Iran's domestic political landscape and its international relations. American Dr. George Tiller was shot dead in Kansas in June 2009 by an activist protesting against what? Abortion. The assassination of Dr. George Tiller, a prominent late-term abortion provider, in 2009 highlighted the intense and often violent polarization surrounding the abortion debate in the United States. Such acts of violence underscore the extreme positions taken by some activists in highly contentious social issues. The 2009 UK budget announced what tax rate, effective April 2010, for earners of more than £150,000 per year? 50%. The 2009 UK budget, delivered during the global financial crisis, introduced a 50% income tax rate for high earners. This measure was a significant policy shift aimed at increasing government revenue and was part of a broader strategy to address the national deficit and ensure fiscal stability. Which former U.S. Secretary of State returned to academia in 2009 to teach political science at Stanford University? Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice, a key figure in U.S. foreign policy as Secretary of State under President George W. Bush, transitioned back to academia in 2009. Her return to Stanford University, where she had previously served as a professor and provost, exemplifies the common path of high-ranking political officials moving into academic roles. What UK government minister claimed, received and subsequently paid back parliamentary expenses of £500 for painting a summer house? Gordon Brown. The UK parliamentary expenses scandal of 2009 revealed widespread questionable expense claims by members of parliament, leading to public outrage and demands for reform. Then Prime Minister Gordon Brown was among those who faced scrutiny, repaying the sum for a summer house painting claim amidst the controversy. Caster Semenya was subjected to a badly handled inquiry into what? Her gender. Caster Semenya, a South African Olympic middle distance runner, faced a highly publicized and controversial inquiry into her gender following her dominant performance in 2009. This case sparked global debate on biological sex, hyperandrogenism, and the ethics of gender verification in elite sports, leading to new regulations by athletic federations. What TV newsman, often voted the most trusted man in America, died in July 2009? Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite was an iconic American broadcast journalist, serving as the anchorman for the CBS Evening News from 1962 to 1981. Widely known as the most trusted man in America, his authoritative reporting on major events such as the assassination of JFK, the Vietnam War, and the moon landing left an indelible mark on American journalism and public perception. What product, named Sakshat, Before Your Eyes, was launched in India with an initial target price of 500 rupees, approximately £7. Laptop computer. Sakshat was an ambitious Indian government initiative, announced in 2009, aimed at providing ultra-low-cost computing devices to students and educators. While the initial target of a 500 rupee laptop was difficult to achieve, the project later evolved into the Akash tablet series, reflecting India's efforts to bridge the digital divide and promote affordable access to technology. Who fought extradition to the US for allegedly hacking into Pentagon and NASA computers while investigating UFOs? Gary McKinnon. Gary McKinnon, a Scottish systems administrator, faced a prolonged legal battle against extradition to the United States on charges of hacking into military and NASA computer networks between 2001 and 2002. McKinnon claimed he was searching for evidence of undisclosed UFO information and advanced energy suppression. His case raised significant international debate concerning jurisdiction, cybercrime, and human rights. Who topped Forbes' list of the world's most powerful women in 2009? Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel, then Chancellor of Germany, consistently ranked among the most powerful women globally during her tenure. In 2009, she topped Forbes' list due to her immense political influence in Germany, a leading European economy, and her critical role in shaping international policy and responding to global crises. In which island nation were President Mark Ravalomanana's officers stormed by his own country's army in March 2009? Madagascar. In March 2009, Madagascar experienced a severe political crisis, culminating in the army storming the presidential palace and offices, leading to President Mark Ravalomanana's resignation. This event was widely condemned internationally as a coup d'état, resulting in the installation of Andry Rajoelina as the new leader and leading to the suspension of Madagascar from the African Union and other international bodies. Name the UK Prime Minister's aide who resigned in spring 2009 after his proposals for a smear campaign against Conservative ministers were revealed. Damien McBride. Damien McBride was a key political advisor to then UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown. He resigned in April 2009 following the leak of emails detailing his plans to launch a smear campaign against prominent Conservative politicians, using personal and potentially defamatory information. The scandal sparked widespread criticism regarding ethical standards in political campaigning and caused significant embarrassment for the Labour government. Tidjane Thiam became the first black FTSE 100 CEO in 2009 when appointed to head which UK financial services company? Prudential. Tidjane Thiam made a significant milestone in corporate leadership in 2009 when he was appointed as the CEO of Prudential, a major UK-based multinational life insurance and financial services company. His appointment marked him as the first black chief executive of a FTSE 100 company, highlighting growing discussions around diversity and representation at the highest levels of global business. The statue of which royal person was unveiled in London's The Mall in February 2009? The Queen Mother. A statue of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was unveiled in February 2009 on the Mall in London, a prominent ceremonial road. This monument commemorates her beloved status and enduring legacy as a central figure of the British royal family throughout much of the 20th century, celebrating her unwavering public service and popularity. What London attraction was featured on the 2009 commemorative British 50p coin? Kew Gardens. Kew Gardens, officially the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew, is a world-renowned botanical research and education institution. Its inclusion on the 2009 commemorative 50p coin acknowledged its significance as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a global center for plant science and conservation. Following a new archaeological survey in 2009, which Asian construction was found to be 5% larger than previously estimated. The Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China, a series of defensive fortifications, is one of the most iconic historical structures globally. A 2009 archaeological survey provided updated measurements, revealing its length to be greater than previously believed, reflecting ongoing research into ancient historical sites. Which medieval city was the epicenter of the Italian earthquake of April 2009? L'Aquila. The L'Aquila earthquake was a major seismic event on April 6, 2009, significantly impacting the city and surrounding Abruzzo region in central Italy. It caused widespread damage, claiming over 300 lives and leaving tens of thousands homeless, raising critical questions about urban planning and disaster preparedness. Jacob Zuma led the UNC party to election victory in which country's 2009 election? South Africa. Jacob Zuma became the president of South Africa in 2009, leading the African National Congress, UNC, to a decisive electoral victory. His presidency, which lasted until 2018, was a pivotal period in South African politics, marked by significant policy initiatives and later, by controversies. Which celebrity fronted the successful campaign to grant UK residency rights to Gurkha soldiers? Joanna Lumley. Joanna Lumley led a high-profile and successful campaign in 2009 to secure full residency rights in the UK for all Gurkha soldiers. This advocacy highlighted issues of military service, immigration policy, and the recognition of foreign nationals serving in the British Armed Forces. In what country was the Black Thursday of Action in January 2009? France. The Black Thursday of Action refers to a major day of nationwide strikes and protests in France on January 29, 2009. Millions of public and private sector workers participated, demonstrating against President Nicolas Sarkozy's economic policies and pension reforms amidst the global financial crisis. Who became the chief executive of Royal Bank of Scotland, a position frequently described as Britain's best-paid public servant? Stephen Hester. Stephen Hester was appointed CEO of Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS, in 2008, following the bank's significant bailout during the global financial crisis. His role involved steering the bank through a period of restructuring and recovery, making it a prominent position in the UK's financial landscape. The widely circulated video of Nida Agha Soltan's killing became a symbol during demonstrations in which city? Tehran. Nida Agha Soltan became an iconic figure during the 2009 Iranian election protests, also known as the Green Movement. Her death, captured on video and disseminated globally, highlighted the intensity of the demonstrations in Tehran and brought international attention to human rights issues in Iran. Jan Kaplaki, the architect who passed away in 2009, designed the distinctive media center at which renowned sports ground? Lord's Cricket Ground. Jan Kaplaki was a Czech architect celebrated for his avant-garde, futuristic designs, particularly as a co-founder of Future Systems. His media centre at Lord's Cricket Ground, completed in 1999, is an iconic example of modern architecture, winning the Sterling Prize for Architecture. Ferenc Gyurcsány resigned as Prime Minister of which country in March 2009? Hungary. Ferenc Gyurcsány served as Prime Minister of Hungary from 2004 to 2009. His resignation in March 2009 occurred amidst significant political and economic challenges, as Hungary navigated the impacts of the global financial crisis and domestic unrest. Who was deported from the United States at the age of 89 to face a war crime trial in Germany? John Demjanjuk. John Demjanjuk, a Ukrainian-American, was deported from the US in 2009 to face trial in Germany. He was accused of being a guard at the Sobibor extermination camp during World War II, a case that underscored ongoing efforts to prosecute Holocaust-era war criminals. According to a 2009 assessment by the Economist Intelligence Unit, which country was ranked as the safest in the world? New Zealand. The Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU, regularly publishes global rankings assessing various aspects like safety, livability, and economic performance. New Zealand's high ranking for safety in 2009 reflected its robust democratic institutions, low crime rates, and stable political environment. Which former global leader secured a book deal with Random House in March 2009 for a memoir provisionally titled, Decision Points? George W. Bush. Decision Points is the memoir of George W. Bush, the 43rd President of the United States. Published in 2010, the book offers his personal account and rationale behind major decisions during his presidency, including responses to the September 11 attacks and the Iraq War. Who resigned as Speaker of the UK House of Commons in 2009? Michael Martin. Michael Martin served as Speaker of the House of Commons from 2000 to 2009. He resigned amidst controversy surrounding expenses claims, becoming the first Speaker to be forced out of office in over 300 years, highlighting issues of transparency and accountability in parliamentary expenses. Rose Davis, who passed away in February 2009, led what notable 1970s campaign, whose slogan was prominently displayed across London? Free George Davis. Rose Davis was a prominent figure in the Free George Davis campaign of the 1970s, advocating for her husband's release after he was wrongly convicted of armed robbery. The campaign gained widespread public support and featured prominently on London's walls and bridges, becoming a significant example of grassroots activism in the UK. What major policy did David Miliband critically denounce as a mistaken concept in January 2009? The War on Terror. In January 2009, then UK Foreign Secretary David Miliband publicly stated that the War on Terror was a mistaken concept and unhelpful for policy. His remarks marked a significant shift in diplomatic rhetoric, advocating for a more nuanced approach to counterterrorism focusing on rule of law and international cooperation rather than a military metaphor. Which notable writer, acclaimed for works such as Rumpole of the Bailey, passed away in January 2009? John Mortimer. John Mortimer was a distinguished British barrister, dramatist, and novelist, best known for creating the beloved character Horace Rumpole, a curmudgeonly Old Bailey barrister, in his Rumpole of the Bailey series. His literary contributions spanned plays, novels, and screenplays, often reflecting themes of law, justice, and human nature with wit and insight. Hans Beck, who passed away in 2009, is credited with inventing which popular line of toy figures? Playmobil. Hans Beck was a German inventor and designer, widely recognized as the father of Playmobil, for developing the iconic toy system for Brandstatter Group in the early 1970s. His design philosophy focused on creating posable, miniature figures that encouraged imaginative play, leading to Playmobil's global success as an educational and creative toy. What architect and peer accused Prince Charles of unconstitutional abuse of power? Richard Rogers. Richard Rogers, a renowned British architect and a life peer, publicly criticized Prince Charles for allegedly using his position to interfere with government policies and architectural projects. This raised questions about the constitutional role and influence of the monarchy in the UK's parliamentary democracy, particularly concerning the separation of powers and royal prerogative. Woodgate was a political scandal involving a car dealer and the Prime Minister of which country? Australia. Woodgate was a political scandal in Australia in 2009 that involved allegations of political interference and preferential treatment. It centered on communications between a car dealer, a Treasury official, and members of the Prime Minister's office, leading to accusations against then Prime Minister Kevin Rudd's administration regarding the use of public office. What leader of the UK Independence Party, UKIP, admitted to receiving over £2 million in expenses from the EU over 10 years, predominantly used for UKIP's promotion of anti-EU policies? Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, a prominent figure and former leader of the UK Independence Party, UKIP, famously admitted to receiving substantial expenses from the European Union as a member of the European Parliament. This admission sparked controversy due to the ironic use of EU funds to promote a party advocating for the UK's withdrawal from the EU, highlighting issues of political funding transparency and accountability. In 2009, UK summer weather conditions prompted fears of a plague of harlequins. What insects are these? Ladybirds, harlequin ladybirds. Harlequin ladybirds, Harmonia axaridis, are an invasive species native to Asia, introduced to control aphids. Their rapid spread and aggressive nature in the UK led to fears of them outcompeting native ladybird species and becoming a nuisance, especially during warm summers when their populations can surge. This ecological concern highlights the impact of invasive species on local biodiversity. Legal action was brought by 30,000 people from Ivory Coast against which company for the alleged dumping of toxic waste? Trafigura. In 2006, the Probo Koala, a ship chartered by the multinational commodity trading company Trafigura, offloaded toxic waste in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. This led to a major environmental and public health crisis, with thousands reporting illnesses and several deaths. Subsequent legal action highlighted issues of corporate accountability, environmental justice, and the transboundary movement of hazardous waste, culminating in a significant settlement. What was the first predominantly Muslim country visited by Barack Obama after becoming US President? Turkey. Barack Obama made his first visit as US President to a predominantly Muslim country in April 2009, when he traveled to Turkey. This visit was significant for US foreign policy, aiming to strengthen ties and foster dialogue with the Islamic world. Which prominent politician resigned as governor of Alaska in July 2009? Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin, a former US vice presidential candidate, resigned as the governor of Alaska in July 2009. Her resignation, which she described as putting Alaska first, was a notable political event that attracted significant national attention. Manuel Zelaya was ousted by a military coup as the leader of which Central American country? Honduras. Manuel Zelaya, the then president of Honduras, was ousted by a military coup in June 2009. This event triggered a major international political crisis, leading to widespread condemnation and diplomatic efforts to restore constitutional order in Honduras. Which town in Sussex hosted the G20 summit in March 2009? Horsham. Horsham, a town in Sussex, England, hosted a meeting of G20 finance ministers and central bank governors in March 2009. This preparatory summit preceded the main G20 leaders summit and focused on coordinating international responses to the global financial crisis. Iftikhar Chowdhury was reinstated as Chief Justice of which country after massive protests? Pakistan. Iftikhar Muhammad Chowdhury was reinstated as the Chief Justice of Pakistan in March 2009, following a widespread lawyers' movement and sustained public protests. His reinstatement was a landmark event that underscored the independence of the judiciary and the power of civil society in Pakistan. In 2009, Coca-Cola paid £30 million for a minority share of which UK smoothie drinks company? Innocent. This transaction in 2009 marked a significant investment by Coca-Cola in Innocent Drinks, a major UK smoothie brand. It highlighted the trend of large corporations acquiring stakes in smaller, health-focused beverage companies to diversify their portfolios and capture emerging market segments within the food and beverage industry. Which banker drew strong negative publicity relating to his failed leadership of RBS and substantial pension arrangements? Sir Fred Goodwin. Sir Fred Goodwin was the CEO of the Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS, during its near collapse in 2008, which necessitated a massive government bailout. His leadership and controversial pension package drew widespread public and political condemnation, making him a prominent figure representing corporate excesses during the global financial crisis. What politician, nicknamed the Big Beast, returned to the Conservative Party shadow cabinet? Kenneth Clarke. Kenneth Clarke, a long-serving and prominent British politician, known for his moderate views and often nicknamed the Big Beast, due to his experience and gravitas, returned to the Conservative shadow cabinet in 2009. His return was viewed as an attempt by the then-leader David Cameron to bring experienced figures into his team ahead of the 2010 general election. The town of Winnenden, where a deranged teenager massacred 15 school children, is in which country? Germany. The Winnenden school shooting occurred in March 2009 in Winnenden, Germany, when a former student shot and killed 15 people before taking his own life. This tragic event sparked widespread debate on gun control and school safety within Germany and internationally. Name the convicted Lockerbie bomber released in August 2009. Abdelbasset al-Maghrahi. Abdelbasset al-Maghrahi was a Libyan intelligence officer convicted in 2001 for his role in the 1988 Lockerbie bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. He was controversially released from a Scottish prison in August 2009 on compassionate grounds due to terminal cancer, sparking significant international criticism. The reform charity Transform reported in 2009 that the legalization of what would save UK taxpayers between £4.60 and £13.9 billion per year. Drugs. In 2009, the UK-based drug policy reform think tank Transform published a report advocating for the legalization and regulation of drugs. The report argued that such a policy could generate substantial tax revenues and significantly reduce the costs associated with drug prohibition, thus benefiting UK taxpayers economically. What is Google's City Panorama service, launched in the UK in March 2009, called? Street View. Google Street View is a feature of Google Maps that provides interactive panoramic views from positions along many streets worldwide. Launched globally in 2007 and in the UK in March 2009, it revolutionized online mapping by offering ground-level perspectives, enhancing navigation and virtual exploration. Which car's 50th anniversary was featured on a Royal Mint 2009 commemorative coin? The Mini. The Mini, an iconic British small car, celebrated its 50th anniversary in 2009, leading to its commemoration on a Royal Mint coin. Designed by Sir Alec Isigonis and launched in 1959, the Mini became a symbol of 1960s popular culture and is recognized as a significant piece of automotive design and industrial heritage. The famous quote, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players," is from which Shakespearean play? As You Like It. This iconic soliloquy, known as The Seven Ages of Man, is spoken by the melancholic Jacques in William Shakespeare's pastoral comedy, As You Like It. It reflects on the transient nature of human life and its various stages, metaphorically comparing it to a theatrical performance. What economic term, originating in the late 19th century, describes the intangible asset representing the excess of the purchase price of a company over the fair market value of its identifiable net assets? Goodwill. Goodwill is an intangible asset that arises when one company acquires another for a price greater than the fair value of its net identifiable assets. It typically reflects the acquired company's reputation, brand recognition, customer base, and proprietary technology, contributing significantly to its future economic benefits. The malleus, incus, and stapes, collectively known as the ossicles, are located in which part of the human body? The middle ear. The malleus, hammer, incus, anvil, and stapes, stirrup, are three tiny bones located in the middle ear. Their primary function is to transmit sound vibrations from the eardrum to the inner ear, playing a crucial role in the process of hearing. In which South American country is the volcanic peak Mount Chimborazo located? Ecuador. Mount Chimborazo is an inactive stratovolcano in the Andes mountain range, located in Ecuador. Although not the highest mountain by elevation above sea level, its summit is the point on Earth's surface farthest from the Earth's center due to the equatorial bulge. Alexander Graham Bell, the renowned inventor, was born in which country? Scotland. Alexander Graham Bell, most widely known for inventing the first practical telephone, was born in Edinburgh, Scotland, in 1847. His work significantly influenced telecommunications and deaf education, though his family later moved to Canada and the United States. Which traditional ceremony is typically conducted beneath a chuppah? A Jewish wedding ceremony. A chuppah is a canopy under which a Jewish couple stands during their wedding ceremony. It symbolizes the home the couple will build together, open on all four sides to welcome guests, much like the tent of Abraham and Sarah. Whose paintings included Woman with a Hat, The Open Window, and Bathers with a Turtle? Henri Matisse. Henri Matisse was a leading figure in the Fauvist movement, known for his revolutionary use of color and expressive forms. Woman with a Hat, 1905, is particularly famous, emblematic of his early Fauvist style and impact on modern art. In which country is the city of Invercargill? New Zealand. Invercargill is the southernmost city in New Zealand, located in the Southland region of the South Island. It serves as an important administrative and commercial hub for the surrounding agricultural and fishing industries. What is the Chilean pine more commonly known as? Monkey puzzle tree. The Chilean pine, scientifically known as Araucaria araucana *, is popularly called the monkey puzzle tree. This evergreen conifer is native to central and southern Chile and Argentina, named for its distinctive, sharp leaves that are difficult to climb. What U.S. state is known as the Nutmeg State? Connecticut. Connecticut is famously known as the Nutmeg State, a nickname acquired during its early colonial history. This appellation is often attributed to the ingenuity of Connecticut peddlers who were said to have sold wooden nutmegs, implying shrewdness. What past U.S. president's autobiography is titled, Where's the Rest of Me? Ronald Reagan. Where's the Rest of Me is the 1965 autobiography of Ronald Reagan, chronicling his life before his rise to political prominence. The title is a famous line from his 1942 film, King's Row, reflecting his earlier career as an actor. Autumn King and Saint Valerie are varieties of which type of vegetable? Carrot. Autumn King and Saint Valerie are well-known varieties of carrots, favored for their robust growth and quality. These cultivars are widely cultivated globally for their distinct characteristics, including good flavor and excellent storage capabilities. What wind instrument has a variety known as a sweet potato? Ocarina. The ocarina is a type of vessel flute, typically made from ceramic, plastic, or wood, and characterized by its enclosed, resonant body. Its often rounded and bulbous shape has led to some varieties being colloquially referred to as sweet potatoes. The Curzon line was the demarcation line between which two countries? Russia and Poland. The Curzon line was a proposed demarcation line between Poland and Soviet Russia, suggested by British Foreign Secretary Lord Curzon in 1920. While initially largely ignored, it became the eastern border of Poland after World War II, albeit with some modifications. Who became Secretary General of the United Nations in 2007? Ban Ki-moon. Ban Ki-moon served as the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations from January 2007 to December 2016. A South Korean diplomat, he previously held the position of South Korea's foreign minister. In the Roman Catholic Church, what name is given to the form of prayers said on 9 consecutive days? Novena. A novena is a devotion consisting of prayers recited on 9 consecutive days, often for a specific intention or in preparation for a major feast day. This practice is primarily observed in the Roman Catholic Church as a period of prayer and reflection. English novelist Mary Annie Evans is better known by what name? George Eliot. Mary Annie Evans, a prominent English novelist of the Victorian era, adopted the male pen name George Eliot to ensure her work was taken seriously in a male-dominated literary world. Her notable novels include Middlemarch, Silas Marner, and The Mill on the Floss, celebrated for their realism and psychological insight. In what ocean are the Pitcairn Islands, where the Bounty mutineers settled? Pacific. The Pitcairn Islands are a remote group of 4 volcanic islands in the southern Pacific Ocean, forming the last British overseas territory in the region. They are most famous as the refuge of the Bounty mutineers and their Tahitian companions, who settled there in 1790. The words, domo arigato, mean, thank you, in what language? Japanese. Domo arigato is a widely recognized phrase in Japanese, commonly used to express gratitude. Domo signifies very much or greatly, while arigato means thank you. What year is represented by the Roman numerals MCMXCIX? 1999. Roman numerals are a numerical system that originated in ancient Rome. MCMXCIX translates to 1999, where M equals 1000, CM equals 900, 1000 to 100, XC equals 90, 100 to 10, and IX equals 9, 10 to 1. What stage character is based on a real-life medieval merchant, politician, and mayor of London? Dick Whittington. The popular pantomime character Dick Whittington is based on Sir Richard Whittington, a historical figure who served as Lord Mayor of London multiple times in the late 14th and early 15th centuries. His legend tells the story of a poor boy who comes to London to seek his fortune. What country was previously called Abyssinia? Ethiopia. Ethiopia was historically known as Abyssinia, a name widely used until the 20th century. The name Abyssinia is derived from the Arabic form of the ancient South Arabian word Habasat, referring to a people from the region. The F Zones, an elite ceremonial infantry unit in which European country, derived their name from the word, well-girded, a term reportedly first recorded by Homer. Greece. The F Zones are a distinct ceremonial infantry unit of the Hellenic army, known for their traditional uniform. Their name, meaning, well-girded, or, well-belted, has ancient roots and signifies their historical role as light infantry. What ironic term describes the practice of business executives visiting the factory floor or other frontline work, abbreviated to MBWA? Management by walking around. Management by walking around, MBWA, is a management style in which managers spend a portion of their time informally interacting with employees at their workplaces. This practice aims to gather first-hand information, observe operations, and build rapport. What is the state capital of Western Australia? Perth. Perth is the capital and largest city of the Australian state of Western Australia. Located on the Swan River, it is a major economic and cultural hub in the region. A coppeater is a glass traditionally used for drinking what? Sherry. A coppeater is a specific type of stemmed glass, often tulip-shaped, traditionally used for serving and appreciating sherry wine. Its design is intended to concentrate the aromas and enhance the tasting experience. The 1797 Treaty of Campo Formio was signed by Napoleon Bonaparte of France and Count Ludwig von Cobenzl of which country? Austria. The Treaty of Campo Formio, signed in 1797, marked the end of the War of the First Coalition between France and Austria, consolidating Napoleon's early victories. This treaty redrew the map of Europe significantly, with Austria ceding territories and recognizing French control over parts of Italy. A square hectare of land would have sides of how many meters each? 100. A hectare is a unit of area equal to 10,000 square meters. Therefore, a square hectare of land would have sides that are each 100 meters long. 100 meters times 100 meters equals 10,000 square meters equals 1 hectare. This unit is commonly used for measuring land area, especially in agriculture and real estate. In marketing and business, Me Too, products are what? Copies of successful products. Me Too, products are imitations or near replicas of existing successful products, often introduced by competitors to capitalize on established market demand. While they might offer minor improvements or lower prices, their primary characteristic is their lack of significant innovation. Lazar Ludwig Zamenhof invented which language? Esperanto. Lazar Ludwig Zamenhof, a Polish ophthalmologist, created Esperanto in the late 19th century with the aim of fostering international communication and understanding. Designed to be a simple and easy-to-learn auxiliary language, it is the most widely spoken constructed international language. What is the full name of the leading scientific and technological research university referred to as MIT? Massachusetts Institute of Technology. MIT stands for the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a world-renowned private research university located in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It is highly regarded globally for its pioneering research and education in science, engineering, and technology. What term describes computer software or its code which is free to use and adapt, based on a philosophy of improvement through sharing and collaboration? Open source. Open source software refers to software whose source code is made publicly available, allowing anyone to view, modify, and distribute it. This collaborative development model fosters transparency, rapid innovation, and a community-driven approach to software improvement, with Linux being a prime example. A monochade has one what? Testicle. Monarchism is a medical condition characterized by the presence of only one testicle in the scrotum. This can result from congenital factors, such as an undescended testicle that atrophied, or from medical interventions like surgical removal due to injury or disease. Winnipeg is the capital city of which Canadian province? Manitoba. Winnipeg is the capital and largest city of the province of Manitoba, Canada. Situated at the confluence of the Red and Assiniboine rivers, it serves as a major transportation hub and is known for its diverse economy and cultural institutions. What is the 7 or 9 branch candelabrum, of which the Jewish Hanukkah, or Chanukkiah, is a type? Menorah. The menorah is an ancient 7-branched candelabrum, a significant symbol in Judaism since ancient times. A 9-branched version, specifically known as a Hanukkah or Chanukkiah, is used during the celebration of the Hanukkah festival. A logomachy is a dispute over what? Words. A logomachy refers to a dispute or argument over words, their meaning, or their definition. This term highlights the importance of precise language and the potential for disagreement stemming from semantic interpretations. Stonehenge is in which UK county? Wiltshire. Stonehenge is a world-renowned prehistoric monument located in Wiltshire, England. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a significant archaeological complex, offering crucial insights into the architectural and ritualistic practices of prehistoric societies. Blenny, damsel, hamlet, goby and grunt are varieties of what living things? Fish. Blenny, damsel, hamlet, goby, and grunt are all common varieties of fish, belonging to diverse families and found in various aquatic environments. This question tests general knowledge of biological classification and marine fauna. What is the Hindi greeting and salutation also used by many Westerners engaging in Indian cultural activities and philosophies? Namaste. Namaste is a widely used traditional greeting and salutation in Hindi and various Indian languages, often accompanied by a gesture of pressing palms together. It signifies respect and recognition of the divine in the other, embodying a deep cultural meaning beyond a simple hello. From what language does the phrase kia ora come? Maori. Kia ora is a phrase from the Maori language, literally meaning, be well, or, be healthy. It serves as a common informal greeting in New Zealand, similar to, hello, and represents a vital aspect of Maori culture and linguistic heritage. What one of these is a metallic chemical element? Brass, barium, steel, sterling silver, pewter? Barium. Barium, Ba, is a metallic chemical element with atomic number 56, belonging to the alkaline earth metals. Unlike brass, steel, sterling silver, and pewter, which are all alloys, mixtures of metals, barium exists as a pure element. The energy of what is measured by the Richter magnitude scale? Earthquakes. The Richter magnitude scale is a numerical scale used to quantify the energy released by an earthquake. Developed by Charles F. Richter in 1935, it provides a logarithmic measure of the amplitude of seismic waves recorded by seismographs. The analytical model acronym SLEPT refers to what traditional external areas of influence on a business? Social, legal, economic, political, technological. SLEPT analysis is a strategic framework used to evaluate the external macro-environmental factors that can impact an organization. It helps businesses understand and adapt to the broader environment, informing strategic decision-making and risk assessment. What flower is the national emblem of Wales? Daffodil. The daffodil is a prominent national symbol of Wales, celebrated annually on St. David's Day, March 1st. Its association with Wales dates back centuries, and it is worn alongside the leek as a badge of national identity. What is the German equivalent of the British, Limited, and the American, LLC, company designations, meaning limited company? GmbH. GmbH, an abbreviation for Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung, is a common legal form for companies in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. It denotes a private limited liability company, meaning the liability of its owners is limited to their shares in the company, similar to an LLC or Limited. What trade union was deplored by Gordon Brown for its actions in the 2010 British Airways cabin staff dispute? Unite. Unite the Union, one of the largest trade unions in the UK and Ireland, was involved in a significant dispute with British Airways in 2010 over pay and conditions. Then Prime Minister Gordon Brown publicly criticized the union's strike actions for their potential economic impact. The 6th century book attributed to Sun Tzu often applied to leadership is called The Art of what? War. The Art of War is an ancient Chinese military treatise attributed to Sun Tzu, a high-ranking military general, strategist, and tactician. This influential text comprises 13 chapters, each devoted to a different aspect of warfare and military strategy, and its principles are widely applied to business, management, and leadership. Valentine and Proteus are the central characters in what Shakespeare play? Two Gentlemen of Verona. The Two Gentlemen of Verona is an early comedy by William Shakespeare, focusing on the themes of friendship, love, and infidelity. It is notable for featuring one of Shakespeare's first heroines to disguise herself as a boy and for its exploration of complicated romantic relationships. What organization famously distributes Bibles to hotel rooms? The Gideons. The Gideons International is an association of Christian businesspeople and professionals dedicated to distributing Bibles and New Testaments worldwide. They are most recognized for placing Bibles in hotel and motel rooms, hospitals, and schools in various countries. Often called the lost city of the Incas, the 15th century ruins of Machu Picchu are in which country? Peru. Machu Picchu is a pre-Columbian Inca site located in the Cusco region of Peru. Built in the 15th century, it is believed to have been an estate for the Inca Emperor Pachacuti and is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, renowned for its stunning architecture and historical significance. Where in the human body are the metacarpals? Hand. Metacarpals are the 5 long bones that form the palm of the hand. They articulate with the carpals, wrist bones, proximally and the phalanges, finger bones, distally, providing structure and flexibility. ISO 9000 and its series of international quality management system standards used in industry and commerce, effectively superseded what British standard number? BS 5750. ISO 9000 is a globally recognized family of standards for quality management systems. This international standard effectively superseded BS 5750, a British standard developed in the 1970s and 1980s that laid important groundwork for modern quality assurance practices. What country comprises the peninsula of Jutland and over 400 islands including Zealand and Funen? Denmark. Denmark is a Nordic country in Northern Europe, characterized by its unique geography. It comprises the Jutland Peninsula, which forms its continental European connection, and a vast archipelago of over 400 islands, with Zealand and Funen being among the largest. What is the 7th letter of the Greek alphabet, and also a former terrorist organization? Eta. Eta, epsilon, eta, is the 7th letter of the Greek alphabet. The acronym ETA, Euskadi-ta Askatasuna, also refers to a Basque nationalist and separatist organization in Spain, which was designated as a terrorist group and formally dissolved in 2018. What is the website address of the United Nations? www.un.org. The United Nations (UN) is an intergovernmental organization established in 1945 to promote international cooperation and maintain global peace and security. Its official website, www.un.org, serves as a primary source for information on its extensive activities, resolutions, and various organs and agencies. What health-related metaphor refers to a form of internet marketing which spreads from user to user on a wide scale? Viral. The term viral in internet marketing refers to content or campaigns that spread rapidly and extensively from person to person. This phenomenon, which mimics the spread of a biological virus, relies heavily on user sharing and typically results in exponential growth in reach and engagement. How many modern pence are equivalent to 1 guinea? 105. A guinea was a British gold coin first minted in 1663, valued at £1 and 1 shilling. In modern decimal currency, 21 shillings equate to 105 pence, as 1 shilling was equivalent to 5 pence in the pre-decimal system, £1 and 5 pence. What is the longest line of latitude on Earth? The equator. The equator is the imaginary line of latitude that circles the Earth at 0 degrees, dividing it into the northern and southern hemispheres. It represents the largest circumference of the Earth, making it the longest line of latitude. Pisciculture refers to the breeding and rearing of which aquatic animals? Fish. Pisciculture, commonly known as fish farming, is a form of aquaculture involving the controlled cultivation of fish in artificial environments like tanks or enclosures. This practice is crucial for commercial food production and restocking natural fish populations. Which renowned artist is particularly famous for his depictions of scenes at the Moulin Rouge? Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec was a French painter, printmaker, and illustrator whose work captured the bohemian nightlife of 19th-century Paris. He is especially known for his vibrant and often intimate portrayals of dancers and patrons at the Moulin Rouge cabaret. What long-necked stringed instrument, typically featuring 4 pairs of strings, originated in Greece and remains a staple of Greek music? Bouzouki. The bouzouki is a Greek musical instrument belonging to the lute family, recognized by its distinct long neck and metallic sound. It is a central instrument in modern Greek music, particularly in genres like rebetiko. The Davis Strait is situated between Baffin Island and which country, also recognized as a dependency? Greenland. The Davis Strait is a northern arm of the Atlantic Ocean, located between midwestern Greenland and Baffin Island in Nunavut, Canada. It connects the Labrador Sea with Baffin Bay and is an important shipping route and biologically rich area. January king, meteor, and salarite are specific varieties of which common vegetable? Cabbage. Cabbage, Brassica oleracea var. Capitata, is a leafy green or purple biennial plant grown as an annual vegetable crop. These named varieties are selectively bred for characteristics such as hardiness, flavor, and suitability for different growing seasons. The city of Breda is located in which European country? The Netherlands. Breda is a city and municipality in the province of North Brabant in the southern Netherlands. It holds historical significance, particularly during the 80 Years' War, and is known for its beautiful canals and cultural landmarks. Citophobia is the fear of what? Food. Citophobia is an irrational and intense fear of food, which can lead to significant weight loss and nutritional deficiencies. It is often associated with eating disorders or traumatic experiences related to food. Mount Elbrus, 5,642 meters, is the highest mountain in which continent? Europe. Mount Elbrus, an inactive stratovolcano, is the highest peak in Europe, located in the western Caucasus Mountains, in Russia. Standing at 5,642 meters, 18,510 feet, it is a popular destination for mountaineers. Who became President of the USA in 1989? George Bush, Sr. George H. W. Bush was inaugurated as the 41st President of the United States on January 20, 1989. Prior to his presidency, he served as Vice President under Ronald Reagan for 2 terms. Nicholas Rowe's 1703 play The Fair Penitent originated what character, whose name has since referred to a seducer of women? Lothario. The character Lothario, from Nicholas Rowe's 1703 play, The Fair Penitent, is a notorious seducer. His name has since become an eponym, universally used to describe a man who habitually seduces and deceives women. Dresden china originated in which country? Germany. Dresden china, known for its intricate designs and delicate craftsmanship, originated in Dresden, Germany. While Meissen porcelain is often mistaken for Dresden, Dresden china specifically refers to the decorated porcelain produced by various studios in the city, often on blanks from Meissen or other factories. In Greek mythology, what are the goddesses or spirits which inspire the creation of literature and the arts? Muses. In Greek mythology, the Muses are the inspirational goddesses of literature, science, and the arts. Traditionally, there are 9 Muses, who provide divine inspiration to poets, musicians, and artists, guiding their creative endeavors. Coober Pedy, the largest opal mine in the world, is in which country? Australia. Coober Pedy, located in South Australia, is renowned as the opal capital of the world and is home to the largest opal mine globally. The town is famous for its underground dwellings, known as dugouts, which provide refuge from the intense desert heat. The suffix "stan" in a country's name such as Afghanistan derives from what early Indo-European meaning? Stand. The suffix "stan", common in the names of many countries in Central and South Asia, originates from the Old Persian word "stana" and the Proto-Indo-European root *statu, meaning to stand, to place, to make or be firm. It literally translates to place of or country of. What is the name of the shallow circular transparent dish with a flat lid, used for the culture of microorganisms? Petri dish. A petri dish is a shallow, cylindrical, transparent lidded dish primarily used by biologists to culture cells, such as bacteria and fungi. Invented by German bacteriologist Julius Richard Petri in 1887, it is an indispensable tool in microbiology laboratories. Which is the only city to lie in 2 continents? Istanbul. Istanbul is unique as it is located on both the European and Asian continents, separated by the Bosphorus Strait. This strategic location has made it a historical and cultural crossroads. What is the name of the substance obtained from the dried swim bladders of fish, used in brewing and winemaking? Isinglass. Isinglass is a type of collagen obtained from the dried swim bladders of fish, historically sturgeon. It is used as a fining agent in the clarification of beer and wine to remove suspended solids, making the beverages clearer. Which U.S. state is known as the Sunflower State? Kansas. Kansas is famously known as the Sunflower State, due to the abundance of wild sunflowers that grow across its prairies. The sunflower is also the official state flower of Kansas. Heliotherapy is the therapeutic use of what? Sunlight. Heliotherapy refers to the therapeutic use of natural sunlight for medicinal purposes. Historically, it was employed to treat various conditions, including skin disorders like psoriasis and certain forms of tuberculosis, leveraging the benefits of UV radiation. What Latin term is used to mean, word for word, or exactly the same words? Verbatim. Verbatim is a Latin term meaning, word for word, or in exactly the same words. It is commonly used in legal, academic, and journalistic contexts to indicate a precise, exact reproduction of speech or text. Offaly, Westmeath, Carlow and Cavan are counties of which country? Ireland. Offaly, Westmeath, Carlow, and Cavan are all counties located within the Republic of Ireland. These administrative divisions are part of Ireland's traditional county system, each with its own local governance and cultural identity. The Shaw durometer devised by Albert Shaw in the 1920s measures what quality of materials such as rubber and plastics? Hardness. The Shaw durometer, developed by Albert Shaw in the 1920s, is an instrument used to measure the hardness of materials. It is widely employed in quality control for polymers, elastomers, and other materials like rubber and plastics, indicating their resistance to indentation. A heptahedron is a solid figure with how many plane sides? 7. A heptahedron is a polyhedron, which is a three-dimensional solid with flat polygonal faces, straight edges, and sharp corners or vertices. Specifically, a heptahedron has exactly 7 faces. A cope is a long ceremonial cloak worn by a member of what profession? Clergy. A cope is a liturgical vestment, a type of long cloak, worn by clergy in various Christian denominations, including Catholic, Anglican, and Lutheran churches. It is typically worn during processions or at non-Eucharistic services. Who was the next president of the USA after Gerald Ford? Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter succeeded Gerald Ford as the 39th President of the United States, serving from 1977 to 1981. Ford had completed the term of Richard Nixon after Nixon's resignation in 1974. Ichthyology is the study of what? Fish. Ichthyology is the branch of zoology devoted to the study of fish. This field encompasses the study of fish anatomy, physiology, behavior, ecology, and classification. What country has the largest forested area? Russia. Russia possesses the largest forested area of any country in the world, covering approximately 1/5 of the world's total forest area. These vast forests, particularly the Siberian taiga, are crucial for global biodiversity and carbon sequestration. What element has the highest melting point of any metal, symbol W, otherwise known as wolfram? Tungsten. Tungsten, with the chemical symbol W, has the highest melting point of all metals, at 3422 degrees Celsius, 6192 degrees Fahrenheit. Its exceptional strength and high melting point make it essential for applications requiring high temperature resistance, such as light bulb filaments and electrodes. The expression of high quality, blue ribbon, or blue riband, equates to what French term? Cordon bleu. The term, cordon bleu, literally meaning, blue ribbon, in French, historically referred to the highest order of knighthood in France. Today, it commonly denotes excellent culinary skill or a very high standard of quality in general, particularly in gastronomy. Arthur Wellesley, 1769 to 1845, is better known by what title? The Duke of Wellington. Arthur Wellesley, widely regarded as one of Britain's greatest military commanders, is best known as the Duke of Wellington. He famously defeated Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, marking a pivotal moment in European history. In what state is the highest mountain in the USA? Alaska. The highest mountain in the USA is Denali, formerly Mount McKinley, located in the state of Alaska. Standing at 6,190 meters, 20,310 feet, above sea level, Denali is the tallest peak in North America. Credited with popularizing the girl's name Wendy in a famous children's book, who also wrote the stage play The Admirable Crichton? J. M. Barrie. J. M. Barrie, a Scottish novelist and playwright, is widely known for creating the character of Peter Pan and popularizing the name Wendy through his beloved work, Peter Pan, or The Boy Who Wouldn't Grow Up. He also penned other notable plays like The Admirable Crichton. Hilary, Easter, Trinity, and Michaelmas are traditional English and Welsh seasonal names in what context? Law courts. These are the traditional names for the four legal terms in England and Wales, defining the periods when the courts are in session. This system has historical roots and is still in use today, guiding the judicial calendar. Which painting was stolen from the Louvre in Paris in 1911 and kept for 2 years by museum employee Vincenzo Peruggia? Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, was famously stolen from the Louvre in 1911 by Vincenzo Peruggia, a museum employee. Its recovery 2 years later significantly boosted its global fame and iconic status. Which British Prime Minister authored A History of the English-Speaking Peoples? Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, a towering figure in 20th-century British politics and a Nobel laureate in literature, penned A History of the English-Speaking Peoples. This 4-volume work details the history of Britain and its former colonies from Caesar's invasions to the mid-20th century. Loperamide is used to treat which medical condition? Diarrhea. Loperamide is an opioid receptor agonist used as a medication to decrease the frequency of bowel movements. It is primarily prescribed for the symptomatic treatment of acute or chronic diarrhea by slowing gut motility. St. James's Palace in London was commissioned by which British monarch? Henry VIII. St. James's Palace, an important historical royal residence in London, was commissioned by King Henry VIII in the 16th century. Although largely superseded by Buckingham Palace, it remains a working palace and the senior royal palace in the United Kingdom. Technically a berry or fruit, brinjal is the Indian name for which vegetable? Aubergine. Brinjal is the Indian name for aubergine, commonly known as eggplant in North America. Botanically, it is classified as a berry and thus a fruit, despite its common culinary use as a vegetable. The cephalothorax and the opisthosoma are body sections of what group of animals? Arachnids. Arachnids, a class of arthropods that includes spiders, scorpions, ticks, and mites, have their bodies typically divided into two main sections, the cephalothorax, prosoma, which fuses the head and thorax, and the opisthosoma, abdomen. This distinct body plan differentiates them from insects. In which European city is the Charles Bridge located? Prague. The Charles Bridge is a historic bridge that crosses the Vltava River in Prague, Czech Republic. Constructed in the 14th century, it is adorned with statues of saints and serves as an iconic example of Gothic architecture, a major tourist attraction, and a vital cultural landmark. Which flight aid was invented by U.S. aviator Lawrence Burst Sperry? Autopilot. Lawrence Burst Sperry, an American aviator and inventor, developed and demonstrated the first autopilot system in 1914. This invention significantly advanced aviation by enabling aircraft to maintain a set course and altitude automatically, enhancing safety and operational efficiency. Who wrote the novel The French Lieutenant's Woman? John Fowles. The French Lieutenant's Woman is a historical novel by British author John Fowles, published in 1969. Set in Victorian England, it explores themes of love, class, and freedom, known for its postmodern narrative structure and multiple endings. How many grams are in a hectogram? 100. The metric system is based on powers of 10. A hectogram, Hg, is a unit of mass equal to 100 grams, g. The prefix, hecto, denotes a factor of 100. Which is the only Charles Dickens novel with a female narrator? Bleak House. Bleak House, published serially between 1852 and 1853, is a novel by Charles Dickens. It is notable for having two narrative voices, a third-person omniscient narrator and a first-person narrator, Esther Summerson, making it his only novel with a significant portion narrated by a female character. Budapest lies on which river? Danube. Budapest, the capital and most populous city of Hungary, is bisected by the Danube River. The city was historically formed by the unification of Buda and Pest, situated on the western and eastern banks of the Danube, respectively. Who was the 20th US president, the second to be assassinated, and the second shortest serving? James Garfield. James A. Garfield served as the 20th President of the United States in 1881. He was assassinated by a disgruntled office seeker just 200 days into his term, making him the second U.S. President to be assassinated, after Abraham Lincoln, and the second shortest serving. Otoplasty is the surgical alteration of what external body parts? Ears. Otoplasty is a surgical procedure performed to reshape the ear, primarily to correct prominent ears or other ear deformities. It is a common cosmetic or reconstructive surgery aimed at improving the shape, position, or proportion of the ear. Which animal represents the Chinese year 2010? Tiger. The Chinese zodiac, or Shengshao, is a repeating cycle of 12 years, with each year represented by an animal and its reputed attributes. 2010 was a year of the tiger, specifically the metal tiger, associated with characteristics like bravery, confidence, and competitiveness. In which European country is the Caledonian Canal located? Scotland. The Caledonian Canal is a significant waterway in Scotland, connecting the Scottish east coast at Inverness with the west coast at Corpach near Fort William. Opened in 1822, it was largely engineered by Thomas Telford and plays an important role in Scottish transport and tourism. In 1725, King George I instituted which British chivalric honour, whose original ceremony involved a ritual of bodily cleansing? The Most Honourable Order of the Bath. The Most Honourable Order of the Bath is a British order of chivalry founded by King George I in 1725, though it claims an earlier origin. The name derives from the elaborate medieval ceremony for the appointment of a knight, which included ritual bathing as a symbol of purification. It is now awarded for exemplary military or civil service. Donatello's 15th-century bronze statue of David, housed at the Bargello Museum in Florence, Italy, features what significant element at David's feet? Goliath's severed head. Donatello's bronze David, created during the early Renaissance, circa 1440s, is renowned for being the first freestanding nude sculpture since antiquity. It depicts David after his victory over the giant Goliath, with Goliath's decapitated head symbolically placed at David's feet, emphasizing his triumph. What is the chemical name for laughing gas? Nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide, N2O, is a chemical compound commonly known as laughing gas. It is used in dentistry and surgery for its anesthetic and analgesic effects. The cauliflower was first cultivated on or in the region of what island? Cyprus. Cauliflower, a cruciferous vegetable, is believed to have originated in the Mediterranean region. Historical evidence suggests that its cultivation began specifically on or near the island of Cyprus. What Munich festival, claimed to be the world's largest Volksfest, People's Fair, attracts over 6 million visitors each year? Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is the world's largest Volksfest, held annually in Munich, Bavaria, Germany. This traditional beer festival attracts millions of visitors globally, celebrating Bavarian culture with beer, food, and traditional music. The Reign of Terror, 1793–94, was a particularly violent political period in which country? France. The Reign of Terror was a period of extreme violence and political repression during the French Revolution, from 1793 to 1794. Led primarily by Maximilien Robespierre and the Jacobins, it involved mass executions of perceived enemies of the revolution. What York-based Quaker family created several substantial social reform trusts as a legacy of its chocolate business? Rowntree. The Rowntree family, prominent Quaker entrepreneurs from York, England, built a successful chocolate business while also establishing significant social reform trusts. Their philanthropic legacy continues through foundations dedicated to social justice and poverty research. The original Greek meaning of the word hippodrome was what? Horse race. The word hippodrome originates from ancient Greek, combining hippos, horse, and dromos, course or race. Historically, hippodromes were ancient Greek stadiums designed for horse racing and chariot racing, such as the famous Hippodrome of Constantinople. The Holy See is the highest earthly authority of what religion? Roman Catholic. The Holy See is the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the Roman Catholic Church in Rome, headed by the Pope. It serves as the central governing body of the global Catholic Church and is recognized as a sovereign entity in international law. An expanded and renamed Schönefeld Airport is a replacement for Tegel Airport in which European city? Berlin. Berlin-Brandenburg Airport, BER, built on the site of the former Schönefeld Airport, officially replaced both Tegel and the old Schönefeld airports. It functions as Berlin's primary international airport and a key transportation hub for the region. Whom did Margaret Thatcher describe as the man who paints those dreadful pictures? Francis Bacon. Margaret Thatcher, known for her conservative stance, made this memorable comment about the renowned Irish-born British figurative painter Francis Bacon. Her remark highlighted the cultural divergence between traditional values and the challenging, often unsettling, nature of modern art. In which large gland of the human body are the islets of Langerhans? Pancreas. The islets of Langerhans are clusters of endocrine cells located within the pancreas. These islets are responsible for producing and secreting vital hormones, most notably insulin and glucagon, which are crucial for regulating blood glucose levels and maintaining metabolic homeostasis. The Gaudi-designed Sagrada Familia Church, whose construction began in 1882 and is unlikely to finish before 2026, is in which European city? Barcelona. The Sagrada Familia is an iconic Roman Catholic basilica in Barcelona, Spain, designed by the celebrated architect Antoni Gaudi. Its construction, a remarkable example of Catalan modernism, has been ongoing since 1882 and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing millions of visitors annually. Brian Mulroney was the Prime Minister of which country? Canada. Brian Mulroney served as the 18th Prime Minister of Canada from 1984 to 1993, representing the Progressive Conservative Party. His tenure was marked by significant policy initiatives, including the Canada-US Free Trade Agreement and efforts towards constitutional reform. A mohel is a Jewish man trained in the practice of what? Circumcision. A mohel is a Jewish ritual circumciser, trained in both the religious laws and surgical procedures for performing a brit milah, ritual circumcision, on male infants. This practice is a significant covenant in Judaism, typically performed on the 8th day after birth. How many degrees is each angle in an equilateral triangle? 60. An equilateral triangle is a polygon with all three sides of equal length. A fundamental property of such triangles is that all three interior angles are also equal, with each measuring 60 degrees. The sum of angles in any triangle is always 180 degrees. Keflavik International Airport is in which country? Iceland. Keflavik International Airport, KEF, is the largest airport in Iceland and the country's main international gateway. It is situated on the Reykjanes Peninsula, approximately 50 kilometers southwest of the capital, Reykjavik. Which politician, buried in Westminster Abbey in 1833, campaigned for more than 50 years against British slavery? William Wilberforce. William Wilberforce was a prominent British politician, philanthropist, and leader of the movement to abolish the slave trade. His persistent efforts led to the passage of the Slave Trade Act of 1807, which outlawed the slave trade in the British Empire, and later the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833, which abolished slavery itself. Who wrote the lines, "Tiger, tiger, burning bright, in the forests of the night"? William Blake. These iconic lines are from William Blake's poem, The Tiger, published in his collection, Songs of Experience, in 1794. Blake was an English poet, painter, and printmaker, whose works are celebrated for their profound mystical and philosophical themes. What word, meaning crown, in Latin, refers to a visible electrical discharge and a planetary halo? Corona. The word corona originates from the Latin word for crown. In astronomy, it refers to the outermost layer of the sun's atmosphere, visible during a total solar eclipse, or the luminous plasma surrounding any celestial body. In physics, a corona discharge is an electrical discharge brought on by the ionization of a fluid, such as air, surrounding a conductor that is electrically charged. Before Poppy Appeal, what words appeared on the central black buttons of poppies sold in Poppy Appeal in the UK every year? Hague Fund. Prior to being known solely as Poppy Appeal, the funds raised from the sale of remembrance poppies in the UK were associated with the Hague Fund. This name honored Field Marshal Earl Hague, who founded the British Legion, now Royal British Legion, in 1921, initiating the annual Poppy Appeal to support ex-servicemen and women. Who first published and popularized the stories of Snow White, Cinderella, Rumpelstiltskin, Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty, and Red Riding Hood? The Brothers Grimm. Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, known as the Brothers Grimm, were German academics, linguists, and cultural researchers. They compiled and published numerous folk tales during the 19th century, playing a crucial role in preserving and popularizing these stories for future generations. What creature is commonly referred to as a pismire? Ant. A pismire is an archaic or literary term for an ant, a social insect belonging to the family Formicidae. Ants are known for their highly organized colonies, complex social structures, and significant ecological roles in various terrestrial ecosystems. What is the square root of 289? 17. The square root of a number is a value that, when multiplied by itself, yields the original number. In this case, 17 multiplied by 17 equals 289, making 17 the principal, positive, square root of 289. Yukon and Nunavut are federal territories of which country? Canada. Yukon and Nunavut are two of Canada's three federal territories, located in the northern part of North America. These territories possess distinct governance structures compared to Canada's 10 provinces, with Nunavut being the largest and most recently established in 1999 to provide self-governance for the Inuit people. What word for a wild or half-tamed horse derives from the Spanish word for rough wood and specifically a knot in wood? Bronco. The term bronco refers to a wild or untamed horse, particularly one that is prone to bucking. Its etymology traces back to the Spanish word bronco, which means rough or unbroken, originally describing rough wood or a knot within it, then extended to describe untamed animals. What term, adapted from a male equivalent, refers to a female tree feller, gaining prominence in Britain during World War II? Lumberjall. The term, lumberjall, emerged during World War II in Britain, referring to women who took on traditionally male roles such as felling trees. This was part of a broader societal shift as women contributed significantly to the war effort, filling labor gaps left by men serving in the armed forces. Which European city is home to the historic port of Piraeus? Athens. Piraeus is a major port city in Greece, located within the Athens urban area. It has been the port of Athens since ancient times, playing a crucial role in the city's maritime trade, naval power, and cultural development throughout history. To what number do the Roman numerals DCLXVI equate? 666. Roman numerals are an ancient numerical system. D represents 500, C represents 100, L represents 50, X represents 10, V represents 5, and I represents 1. Therefore, DCLXVI translates to 500 plus 100 plus 50 plus 10 plus 5 plus 1, which equals 666. Which event garnered the highest television audience in the United Kingdom during the 1990s? Princess Diana's funeral. The funeral of Diana, Princess of Wales, on September 6, 1997, was a monumental event that drew an estimated 32.1 million viewers in the UK, making it one of the most watched television broadcasts in British history. This event reflected widespread public grief and a significant moment in British social and royal history. The Root Glass Company was responsible for which iconic 1915 design, famously nicknamed the Hobble Skirt and Mae West? The Coca-Cola bottle. The iconic contoured Coca-Cola bottle was designed by the Root Glass Company in 1915, inspired by the shape of a cocoa bean to make it distinctive even in the dark or if broken. Its unique shape earned it nicknames like the Hobble Skirt and Mae West, becoming a globally recognized symbol of the brand. Which of the Bronte sisters authored the novel, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall? Annie Bronte. The Tenant of Wildfell Hall is a significant novel by Annie Bronte, published in 1848 under the pseudonym Acton Bell. It is considered one of the earliest feminist novels, challenging Victorian societal norms and exploring themes of marriage, independence, and women's rights. A clouder is the collective term for which animals? Cats. In the English language, a clouder is one of the specific collective nouns used to describe a group of cats. Other well-known collective nouns include a pride of lions or a flock of birds, reflecting the diversity and richness of the English vocabulary. What is the permanent color of the moon's sky as observed from its surface? Black. The moon lacks a substantial atmosphere to scatter sunlight, unlike Earth. This absence of atmospheric scattering means that the lunar sky appears perpetually black, even during lunar daytime, allowing stars to be visible alongside the sun. Which gland in the human body, situated at the base of the brain, is crucial for controlling growth? Pituitary gland. The pituitary gland, often called the master gland, is a pea-sized endocrine gland located at the base of the brain. It secretes hormones that regulate growth, metabolism, reproduction, and various other vital bodily functions by controlling other endocrine glands. Chladni patterns are formed when a surface covered in which substance is made to vibrate. Sand. Chladni patterns are visual representations of the modes of vibration of a rigid surface, typically a metal plate. These intricate patterns are revealed when a fine powder, such as sand, is sprinkled on the vibrating surface, gathering along the nodal lines where there is no displacement. What is the state capital of Victoria, Australia? Melbourne. Melbourne is the capital and most populous city of the Australian state of Victoria, situated on Port Phillip Bay. It stands as a major global financial centre, a cultural hub, and is widely recognized for its contributions to arts, education, and sports.